Hey everybody! Welcome back to Design in the Dark. Hi Micah, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. We are rolling on. I'm ready for day two. It's going to be a grand old time here on the Behance. If you're watching on YouTube, let's just start here. If you're watching on YouTube, one, thanks for watching. Hi. Two, you're in the wrong place. Go ahead and come over to behance.net/live. That's where the chat is. That's where everyone's interacting. So leave us a red heart in chat on Behance if you're coming over from YouTube. So today, again, we have our guest, day two, Micah, and Micah chat is asking, is Gary going to make it or is he out of town?
Oh, he had to run an errand.
Yep.
So, yep.
Sorry,
No,
guys.
he stepped out for a second.
Yep. But I believe, Micah, that we can follow Gary on Instagram. Is this a thing?
Yes, he was telling me about it yesterday. He created an Instagram that he made a while back and didn't tell anyone about, but it is at Gary Tales.
Oh, there we go. All right. So it's here
G-A-R-Y-T-A-L-E-S.
on the screen. If you guys want to follow Gary from yesterday, there we go. You can follow Gary. Gary's our friend who introed yesterday. So you can check that out if you want. And if you missed it, you can go back to yesterday's intro and watch that as well. And while we're here on the Instagrams, Micah, where can people find you on the Instagrams?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram at Micah Lanier, just my name.
That's it. And you got a
Uh-huh.
bunch of great work here. We're going to talk a little bit about your style, how you work today, and then kind of show where we were yesterday. But I also want to point out you can check out his website, Studio Micah. And of course, click this little button to go to light from dark mode and get real vibey. So check your vibes and also check out that website. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what this show is. Micah, do you want to take a swing at describing what Design in the Dark is and what we've been doing the last day?
Yeah, so I got hit with a creative brief to create some new merch for a new product by a vending machine company. So
Yes.
yeah, I've been trying to crank out some stuff.
It's been wild. And chat, it was your suggestions. On this show, you are the art director. You are in charge. We're just here to carry out your dreams. And so yesterday, you did suggest that we make a merch line for a vending machine company that vends lava lamps. So you got completely out of control with a little Mad Lib. And we're going to go ahead and take a look over at where we were yesterday, as well as read the brief, just so we can get all caught up together. So let's go through and then I'll have Micah walk us through the process of what we did. So Aquafox is the name of our company, and Aquafox is launching a new line of merch. They are the leader in the vending machine industry with a cult following. This new line needs to include their color theme of blue and orange and should be in a flat design style. We want it to feel blank and blank while targeting elderly hipster audience. The merch must feature their signature product, lava lamps, in at least one application, and also we'd love to see it on a beanie. So those are all the things that we filled in yesterday. Again, this show's very much like a Mad Lib, and we're going to be completing this brief today by applying some of the stuff that we've made onto some merch. So yes, Mallory, just in time for the intro. Welcome to Design in the Dark. It's a little crazy, but we have fun. So Micah, let's go ahead and have you take us through a little bit of what we did yesterday, where we started, where we ended, and tell us about your process kind of as we go.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, so yesterday, after getting hit with this crazy brief, I started out with the way I normally do my workflow. So I normally always create multiple artboards, and that just helps me keep track of what I'm doing in different stages. So first artboard, I just made a quick little list. Cool, art clocks and machines, lava lamps, here we go. Quickly just started playing around with some colors based off those suggestions. Landed on this palette right here, which I thought felt nice. And then just started scooting over to the next artboard. I was like, cool, got my palette. Let's start messing around with this illustration style. Let's land somewhere that I think is interesting. Once I landed here, just started moving again. Okay, cool, I got that. Let's tighten this up. And landed pretty close to where I was, but added some dimension,
Yep.
Thought
And can
that
you
felt really
scroll over
nice.
just a little bit so we can
Yeah,
see the rough version versus that kind of refined version? It's interesting
for
because we talked
sure.
about that it's pretty much just getting the idea out and being able to actually see those side by side and the scales, the angles being more precise, that it really does make a world of difference that you don't see as you're working on it. Like as you're working, you're like, okay, cool, it's the same thing. And then we come back the next day and look and we're like, oh my gosh, it's so much better on the right there.
And what's nice too is because just kind of keeping this like history of like where I was to where I'm going, I can always like go back and be like, oh yeah, okay, I see where I was. I'm glad that we made some of these tweaks, and because I didn't delete anything, I can always have that for reference and show process.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. From there, just kept pushing it, and landed here. And so towards the end of yesterday, started thinking about some extra things that could go on some merch, maybe some patterns
Yeah.
based off of the idea of lava lamps, and so started playing around with those.
Yeah,
So
and we talked a lot yesterday about like vibes, about finding the right vibe, about the emotion and kind of the feeling that we want. And so we moved away from just kind of illustrating the lava lamp and started to play around with some of the angles, with some of the shapes, and starting to figure out what implies the idea of a lava lamp without just making a lava lamp. So where are we going today, Micah? That's what we're concerned about. That's what we want to focus on. What's the plan for today?
plan for today is to get some of this stuff onto some merch, and then see where, even like, what does the merch push us toward as far as making maybe some new and fun assets that can show up on the things we're wanting to sell.
Yes. So, chat, here's what I would need from you. I'd love to hear some kind of merch that we want to put this on. I know yesterday we talked about a beanie.
Yep.
So let us know if you want to see maybe a shirt, a tote bag, something like that. Put it in chat and we will start there and start going. Yesterday we started to play around a little bit with these textures. And so I think Micah will explore that. And then I think that Mike and I were talking, we missed a big thing yesterday that we're going to try to do today, and that's working with type. Our name Aquafox is really cool, but we kind of need to figure out what that looks like. So maybe, Micah, we start there and start figuring out maybe a simple little type treatment to put on some of this merch.
Yeah. So I think with that, just thinking about the word Aquafox and thinking about it being vending machines, it feels very fun, feels very just kind of maybe cutting edge. I'm thinking about those like crazy vending machines that you can kind of get like anything out of.
Yes.
And especially with, if this is a lava lamp, that's totally something that I would never expect to get out of a vending machine.
Yes.
So what is that making me think of? Thinking of something friendly, something maybe a little bit more like sort of futuristic. So I'm kind of thinking like sans serif because of that.
All right. Yep.
Yeah.
So for those of you tuning in, there is a bunch of different typefaces. Sans serif and serif are really the two that you focus on. And sans serif means that there are no pointies, and serif means that there are pointies. That's the real kind of distinction. And typically, like Micah said, sans serif is much more modern, feels a little bit more powerful. And so we're going in that vibe, right?
Yes. So no pointies. Wanting to feel just really smooth. And normally what I do for that, I just start typing out the word, and then just making a big, I'll make maybe make 5, and just see where that goes. And then just start changing the typeface out and seeing, how do these feel up against each other? And, I might change, what if it was, some were uppercase, some were lowercase.
Yes. So this is actually, so if you have uppercase and lowercase in the same word, I've learned that is called camel case.
Camel case.
I literally had never heard it. Someone's like, oh yeah, camel case. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I know uppercase and lowercase, and that's pretty, in like sentence case, and it's, camel case.
Yeah. Do you know why it's called camel case?
Because it has like the humps as it goes through.
Yep. Whenever I learned that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And yep.
You learn something new here every day on Design in the Dark. So again, we are kind of just vibing out with something that is a sans serif, and I actually want to show you guys, I'm going to put our screen side by side so you can watch Micah work as well. what we can do is we can go to fonts.adobe.com, and it's a very powerful tool that we can actually filter by those filters. So if we want to, we can come up here and just click on sans serif, and it's going to show us all of the sans serifs that are integrated into Adobe Fonts. And even from there, if we want something thicker, something wider, it's going to filter all those for us. So when we're talking about having kind of the vibes, this is a great way to push those vibes a little further, because you can kind of look through these typefaces and see what feels right to you, what's communicating correctly. And yes, AKA SpongeBob case. Oh, that's true. That's what they use for like the SpongeBob meme. Like on Twitter, they use camel case. That's so funny. I didn't even think about that.
Me either.
All right, someone in chat, and again, chat, you can suggest whatever you want during this show. Our job is to be agile and crazy to follow along. So as you work on that, Micah, I am pulling a nice little mock-up of some lunch boxes. One of our friends in chat had suggested that we do lunch boxes, which could be fun. So I'm going to send that over to you in just a minute, and we'll maybe hop on those. I know that today we have a beanie. Ariana had suggested a beanie as well, so we'll try to do that and kind of just do as many mock-ups as we can, try to push this into a full merch line, which should be really, really fun.
Let's see. Now, I wonder, okay, I'm starting to feel like this, like these two thicker ones.
Yes, is this Brandon Gothic?
This is, no, this is Circular Pro.
Oh, yeah.
Fabrica, I believe that's how you say it. This one, I'm curious, what if, let's see, I'm curious if this was all capitalized, but then we knocked it down to 2 lines.
Oh, interesting. So it's like maybe offset. So it's like Aqua and then Fox kind of shifted over like a, like kind of stair-stepped. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey Tunk, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Design in the Dark. I know you've been here before, so thanks for coming back. It feels very like modern, hip, cool. And I wonder even if we did like this entire thing in an oblique or just gave it a little bit of shift just to give it to match kind of what's happening with the angle of the lava lamp. Both of us forgot what words
what are we doing? Yeah. Ah, interesting. Yeah. Right? Maybe it like plays off of that whole like concept of something like falling or tilting.
Yes, like it's coming out of that kind of vending machine.
Yeah, so maybe this could work too. Let's see. I'm also wondering if like it could be outlined.
Oh.
Like if it would, I think it would need to be larger, but I think it could be interesting.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do.
I love the process that we've already hit as we're going through here, and we saw it yesterday. It's a lot of iteration, and we've already asked 3 or 4 times already, what if this, what if that? And a lot of times that's the best way to go about a project, is just ask what if and try it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh my gosh, that would look so good multiplied in that orange blue, like over each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So like, I think the reason I wanted to kind of go this way is, so a lot of these shapes being made so far are very geometric, and circles show up a lot. So trying to find something that really plays off of the use of circles and doesn't feel too out of step with all that. So I think I like where that's going. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's try this one. Let's see. Whoop. Nope. Let's see. Let me back him up. Let's see. I'm gonna copy that guy. Create
and
outlines.
chat is very adamantly suggesting and requesting that we also maybe do some socks. So I'm gonna pull.
Oh, that's a good suggestion.
Kind of blank socks. We may have to mask around if I can't find a template. But oh, here's actually an. No, that would probably be a nightmare to work on this in Illustrator. I'll find you some socks.
Man, I don't like that. Cool. Let's roll with this guy. And we could change like the stroke weight.
And for all of you that are watching, here, I'll actually show you this 2x2. I am browsing Adobe stock right here, just looking for some good templates of some white socks. So if you ever need something and you need to have a good mock-up, there is an endless amount of great resources here on Adobe stock that you can pick up and use for your project. So we're going to be using one of these today. We're going to be using this one so we can have some different angles to play with as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm liking where this is going. So let's play around with.
I think that the design process is like it's question marks until it turns into an exclamation. It's like I think maybe
that is like, very much totally just playing around, kind of following those instincts, and then if they don't go anywhere, that's totally fine. But then eventually they can. So I'm going to tighten this up just a little bit. And then I'm going to try and get that Q and that F.
And while he does that, chat, we have kind of figured out the vibe that we want to go with some of the suggestions, but we do want to finish the brief. I need 3 adjectives from you, and this is we want it to feel blank and blank while targeting the elderly hipster audience, and we want to get blank with it. So 3 adjectives to fill in there. I'll pick them as you drop them into chat, and we will finish out our brief as we move into a little bit more of these mock-ups, and that may help us with really placement, maybe color, depending on what those adjectives are. So hit us up in chat and let us know. The outline was a good call, Micah. I'm definitely vibing.
Nice, cool. Yeah, I think I want to try some of this out now. Like, so it works with that. It could work with just even with just this. 2, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It feels like a lot.
It does feel like a lot. I want to try it. You know, that might be too small, but who knows?
All right, Mallory suggests hip, so we're gonna do hip because I think that's just a fun word. And edgy, great suggestion. So hip and edgy. Which feels like kind of where we're going, which is a good match. And then we need one more adjective, chat. Drop any adjective in there, something that describes something. All right, and so we're hopping over out of Illustrator into Photoshop. What are we going to be doing in Photoshop, Micah?
So in Photoshop, we're going to be taking the things that we've been making in Illustrator and applying them to some mock-ups to get them in context and see what we can end up with.
Cool. Ooh, and great idea. Comfy is a great describing word. I think that works for the beanie that we're going to do. It feels lush. Comfy. Great word. All right, we are completed on our brief, so I'm going to go ahead and update that for you all. Micah, what was that ooh about?
So I was thinking, let's see. I've got a beanie here somewhere. Let's see. Ooh, okay. This might be fun.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about these patterns.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring these over here. And I'm thinking about how these could end up on a beanie. And what might be cool is if the bottom, this entire band, where this little patches, if that was a solid color, but then the part on the head was the actual like lava lamp bubbles, maybe.
Yes.
To see how those might, like, almost like your head is like a lava lamp.
Yeah, like you are the lava lamp. It's like brand ambassador to a whole new level.
Yeah. So to get that across, I might have to play around a little bit with this beanie mock-up, but yeah, let's try it.
That's like the equivalent of Taco Bell came out with a merch line and they made like a throw blanket that is the burrito wrapper. And then you just like wrap yourself up and you're like, I am the burrito. Like it's totally that level.
Yeah, For sure. So let's, you know what? I can just drop this in and just
see what
enter.
happens and
Let's
how the
save it. Yeah.
PFD setup. Yeah, so this is a
Yeah.
template,
How is this going to work?
again, that we got off Adobe stock. And so it is set up in a way that we can just update things. Oh,
Hmm.
so it's like, it's totally displacement mapping everything
Oh,
and
that's
shifting
nice.
to the shadow. This is
Yeah.
nice. This is a good template.
Okay.
Quality
I did not
products here on Adobe stock.
yeah, I did not expect it to form to the shape of the hat, but that's really nice. It's already doing it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I want to change a lot of the colors in this and add more of these bubbles. So let's do that.
Sweet. And while you do that, hello, Paloma is here. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And while you do that, Micah, I'm going to review the entire brief that we have. Aquafox is launching a new line of merch. They are the leader in the vending machine illustrator with a cult following, with a cult following. This new line needs to include their color theme of blue and orange and should be in a flat design style. We want it to feel hip and comfy while targeting the elderly hipster audience. The merch must feature their signature product, the lava lamp, in at least one application. Also, we would love to see it on a beanie. Get edgy with it. I feel like the beanie fulfills the elderly hipster audience. I feel like that's his own.
As I'm wearing a beanie.
I know, right? Sorry, Micah. You are in the
That's
elderly
okay.
hipster demographic.
Yeah. I accept my fate. So.
Yes. Oh, and Jessica talks about the Taco Bell hotel. Do you remember when they did that? Oh, did you? Oh, dude.
What?
Okay,
How do I not know about this?
Yes.
What?
So they literally rented out a hotel in Palm Springs and they turned it into the Taco Bell hotel and like full on like parties, and you could get reservations. All the rooms were redone. Like it was a whole thing.
Was like room service all just like a Taco Bell menu? Like how did
Yes. But it was probably like a high-end kind of Taco Bell menu. Their chefs are really good. So I won some contests and got to go to the Taco Bell test kitchen. And we met like the head like Taco Bell chef, and he was like, we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff right now that like we can't put on the menu because it's way too complicated. And it was like full on like 5-star cuisine. And he's like, the idea of Taco Bell is here, but also we could never serve this. Like, all right, let's do it.
Wow, so this slipped past me.
Oh yes.
So, and I am a fan of Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
So
and Arbor says those blods remind me of a Sony Walkman. Yeah, it definitely is Walkman vibes.
Oh man,
100%. Oh yeah, that's rad. It's a nice little like throwback reference.
Oh, I haven't thought about this in so long. All right, so I'm just making a bigger version of this pattern, just kind of being really just kind of eyeballing stuff, not being too specific. I'm copying shapes where I feel like it's to just my benefit, just to cut down ads.
And especially when you're making patterns like this, a lot of times you don't have to make a ton of new assets. You can reuse the ones and augment them just a little bit, tilt them, shift them, squeeze them, stretch them, wherever it kind of goes. You can just use the same elements.
Yeah, and you can play around with them just enough to make them feel unique and not too obviously just copied.
Yes.
So let's see how this feels. I'm going to copy this over and see where this goes. So
yes, and I'm noticing something in chat. It looks like we have people from all over the world. So here's what I want you to do. In chat, go ahead and put where you are from in chat, where you're watching from. It's really cool to see that we are completely around the world where everyone is. So drop that in chat where you're watching from. I'm in California. Micah, where are you, sir?
I am in Tennessee.
There we go. We're already across the U.S. Let's see how far we can get into the world.
Okay. I think I am kind of starting to see where this can go.
Yep.
Let's make it bigger.
Oh yeah, if it bleeds off the edges, do you think that it will just wrap through and mask out? I'm guessing it would.
I'm thinking so, which would be really nice.
Fingers crossed, everybody.
Let's see.
Let's hold on Design in the Dark. Yep, totally worked.
Oh yeah, it did. Okay. And so, cool.
And then I wonder if we can like do an adjustment layer in there to change that gray color.
Yeah.
Because that was the pattern on the back of that smart object, right?
It was. So let's see. I'd like for that to be... here's the beanie. Interesting.
I love
I'd like for this to be...
Alexia from Mexico watching in Switzerland. I love that.
Whoa!
I know, right? Across the world.
Let's see. Nope. Let's see.
If you go into the actual where your pattern is, is that just transparent pixels in the background, or is there some kind of texture there? Oh, it is only the transparents.
It's just transparent.
Huh.
Hmm.
Let's go
Let's
back to the
see.
beanie, and I wonder if we do an adjustment layer. So right at the bottom where that beanie is, right above there. So click right below that on adjustment layer, which is the little circle with a cross through it, or like a slash through it.
Yep.
And then go to maybe brightness, contrast.
Yeah, maybe push it up.
And yeah, push it and then leave the contrast up. And I think that should push it to like a nice little white for us.
It's getting there. Let's see.
Yep, and then push the contrast back and it should get the dimension on there.
Yeah, because it's starting to lose that a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing it. And chat thinks that this is just the cutest thing ever. I totally agree.
And last thing, before I move on to that little badge, I want to move this down just a little bit to like make it feel like it's coming really out of that band. Let's see, I'm gonna save that and see what that does. Saving.
The joys of very large PSDs.
Yeah.
Templates.
Okay, let's see. Now let's, I think for this little badge, I think I want to put the Aquafox logo here.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yes, Mumbai represent. Welcome from Mumbai. That's awesome.
Welcome. Wow. Let's see. Let's grab this guy.
Aquafox.
Let's see.
And then are we thinking the band of that beanie goes orange or goes blue?
I think blue.
Cool.
To like blend in with the top.
Yep. Oh, that's true. If it
shades.
is like the idea of a lava lamp. And maybe it is like the entire inside of the beanie is blue. And then like it's just that flip over that has a little reveal.
Yes. So I think, and then there could be a beanie that's orange. Like
yes,
it could
totally.
be separated out like that. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. Cool. So now let's see if we can color this beanie.
Are we going to have to manually just erase mask?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's go for it. Multiply down that orange or blue.
Yeah.
That's the color.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tunk says the last time that I saw you on a stream, Andrew, you had your tiny hands. Well, guess what? I always have my tiny hands. I have tiny hands that I just keep in my desk. So yes, they are here. They still exist. And I'm so excited to see where we go today.
So I'm just going to grab this blue super quick. And I'm going to get rid of this guy. And then I'm going to move this. And I'm going to fill in this. And cool. Hide it real quick. And let's grab this guy.
Oh, what are we using here?
So I'm just using the wand here just to get the shape of that band.
I did not think that it would pick up that separation on that band. I thought it was just going to grab the whole beanie. And I love like the surprises of the power of Photoshop that it's like, this 100% does exactly what I wanted it to do. And not in a million years did I think that it would.
It is surprisingly good.
Oh yeah.
I have been shocked by things it can do.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, so let's now grab this and let's make that a mask. Cool. And that's pretty rough. I can clean that up.
Yeah, and then maybe we multiply it down. And,
Yeah. Cool.
That's so rad.
So let's let the colors a little bit off.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe we just grab the hex out of Illustrator or whatever and then drop it into that. Because yeah, it's a little bright.
It is a little bright. Let's see.
We got about 25 minutes left here on Design in the Dark for today, so we're going to try to get through maybe one more mock-up. Chat, would you like to see, you get to make the choice here, would you like to see a tote, maybe socks, or Micah, what else did we have?
We have a tote, and we have a snapback hat.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's go hat. socks or tote or lunchbox. We saw that lunchbox earlier. Chat, you get to pick
right.
one more. We'll see what we can get through in the next 20 minutes or so.
I'm just gonna up the contrast on that guy, and then we can move on to the next merch item.
Yes. That's so fun. Like, I would wear this just as a regular beanie.
See. Cool.
Oh, so what was the reason there that you increased that just a little bit?
So the reason I increased it just a little bit is, at least on this mock-up, it seemed really, really faint. And I wanted to just increase the contrast just a little bit, so the words Aquafox can be read a little bit
which is great when you're doing branding, especially in word marks. If you're doing outlines, you want to make sure that it reads at small sizes. And so think about where it's going to be used, right? Because in our brain, we're doing the logo and we're like, it's going to be on a billboard. Here it is. And then we shrink it down to a tag and you can't even read it. A mask. That's a good suggestion. Lots of people are saying the lunchbox. So let's try to do lunchbox. I did send it over to you. So I'll cut over to my screen and kind of show everybody a little bit. Oh boy, I just did something. Okay, we're fine. So I'll jump over to my screen. I dragged a window where it shouldn't have been, and it could have been a nightmare, but alas, it was not, which is great. Awesome. So while Micah goes into his email and shows things off, oh, it's definitely broken. Okay, no, we're good. We're back. Okay. It is not designed in the dark without some technical difficulties. So again, you can follow Micah and see more of his work here on Instagram. And we've seen a little bit of your style bleed over, that we have kind of this flat style, but with a kind of like sprinkling of dimension in there, using colors, using values. And I think that we've like totally nailed that today and kept it consistent in how you work with this the overlapping of the bubbles, of doing some slight shadows, of having that very geometric, simple kind of zone. I think we've totally stayed in your wheelhouse. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is landing in a good spot.
Sweet. Did you get the lunchbox?
I did. I just got it. So yeah, let's take a look at this guy.
Let's do it.
Let's see. All right, let me find him really quickly. Man, lunchboxes.
I have done one actual project where I've done lunchboxes. It was for like a kid's school branding. And it was something that like we threw into the pitch deck to be like, look at how this brand system works. And they're like, we just want to buy those lunchboxes like right now.
Oh man, like lunchboxes were so cool. Like, do people still like take lunchboxes around?
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know if our audience would be the ones. Do you guys remember having lunchboxes, or do you have lunchboxes? My roommates are career professionals, and they have lunchboxes and take their lunch to work every day. I order Postmates because I work from home. No, I should make a lunchbox in the morning and then just walk down and get it and be like, cool, I packed my lunch today. So what are we thinking for the approach to the lunchboxes? Where do you want to?
Yeah, this is interesting. It could be cool if, there are 3 of these guys. If there was like a line of lunchboxes. So maybe one is like a bright orange, and one is the blue with like the different variations of like the logo on there.
Yeah. And maybe even if it's like that they have almost like a crop in to where it has like the polka dots, but one's like white background, blue background, orange background, kind of like with that vibe in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and lots of people had paper bags. No lunch boxes, just paper bags. Yep. I'm trying to think. I think I had a lunch box in elementary school, but it was like a little like zipper thing.
A zipper thing.
It wasn't like a full-on like proper lunchbox. It just like kind of had it was like a pouch with a zipper with like cooling stuff inside.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they were kind of poofy.
Yes, it was a poofy zipper pouch. That's
no
lunchbox, just poofy zipper.
The poofy zipper pouch.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm curious.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to treat the center one as like the white one, and then maybe the left will be orange, the right will be blue.
Yep, and this
See
is
how
kind of like
those
the
work out.
minimal, like refined kind of zone.
I think so. Yeah, just playing around just for a second. Like maybe this is like I am semi-professional, but I also love vending machines.
Yep.
And then maybe there's one that is maybe for kids.
Yeah, and I wonder if
yeah.
that middle one can have the lava lamp on there in that little space on the right. It just feels like
Yeah.
it could still stay refined, but have a little like zazz to it.
Yeah, let's try. Oop, and I see something. I need to go back and get rid of that guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got a bubble on there.
We had a little cropping issue. That's always the danger of working with white on a white artboard. I can't tell you the amount of times that I'm like, let's change the background to blue. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I build this? There's so many white things just like all over the place. I love the smell of the lunchbox. Yes, agreed. Agreed. Lunchboxes smell amazing. Well, they can smell amazing. They also can smell really terrible. Okay, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, maybe there's something like this, like kind of fun, like really simple. For some reason, this reminds me of Pixar. Like if this was like, if Aquafox was like one of those brands that like lives within like a Pixar movie or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It could totally be that. Like especially in something like Big Hero 6 when they're in a Fanfare in Tokyo, I think it's called. That is kind of that like future that's like, oh yeah, you just get lava lamps out of vending machines now.
Yes, totally.
And we can see here, we haven't really talked about it much, but Micah's just flipping back and forth between Illustrator and Photoshop, and Creative Cloud works between all of those programs, and you can simply copy and paste things in, and you can sync them to your Creative Cloud libraries. So what you can do there is if you ever use that object that's synced to your Creative Cloud library, if you change it, it will update across all of your documents everywhere. And so it's a super powerful tool using Creative Cloud libraries. It takes a little bit to kind of get in a new workflow working with those instead of just copy and pasting kind of all over the place. But it is a super, super powerful tool. And if you're not, you should check it out and see what you can create with that. All right, we finished the little overflow there, which is great.
Yep, so got that guy knocked out. I'm just going to replace this guy.
Bye.
With a good one. Make sure it's the right size that I like, and then I'll get rid of the one below it, and then I'll rename that. Yeah, cool. And then yeah, let's try a different lunchbox. Let's see. Cool.
Get some bright, crazy vibes on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. This middle one caters to our elderly hipster audience. They were like refined and a little more mature, and they're like, we like Aquafox, but like we don't love it.
And then it's like, oh, you don't know what Aquafox is? When someone asks you about it, like, what is that?
Exactly. Like, why is there like a little like lava lamp? Oh, you haven't heard of Aquafox?
What does that mean? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's try this guy.
Orange.
Here.
I've realized that this is such a weird specific thing. Whenever I say orange or like oranges, I always say it as 3 syllables. So instead of oranges, it is always oranges. Like I pronounce the N like so definitively.
Oranges.
Orange. Oranges. Orange. Orange.
Do you say orange or do you say orange?
I say orange.
Orange. Okay.
Orange.
Orange.
And yes, Aquafox lunchboxes make so much sense. I'm loving it. I agree. And this is something that feels like it would be in the vending machine that like you could get like in the actual machine.
I think that it'd be cool if just the lid was like one of these hot colors.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to be daring and see if I can just use this tool to like clean up some of this really quick. Might not work out, but we'll see.
Yeah. Sometimes, especially with mockups, close enough is fine. That it doesn't have to be like perfect, but it's like, yeah, we get the idea. This is what it would look like if it was actually produced.
Yeah. As long as it gets the idea across,
Yep.
well enough, sometimes that's totally fine for
Yep. And a
sure.
lot of these, if you in chat want to figure this out and explore, you can work in Dimension. I haven't worked a ton in Dimension. I know that our friend Nick Longo, if you watch Office Hours, works in Dimension all the time. It's super powerful. And he's shown me a couple things, and I'm just like, how is any of this possible? So Dimension's super, super powerful. If you spend a little bit of time learning, you can really level up the way that you present things. That looks great.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna clean this up super quick. And then, yeah, maybe we can like try out some of this stuff on here.
Yeah, doing some of that polka dot pattern stuff.
Yeah.
And you just did something that a lot of people don't know you can do in Photoshop. So if you're using a brush, a lot of times I'll see people like click and drag or use like the pen to kind of like scrub something out. What you can do is you can actually click at one point, hold shift, and then click at the end point, and it will connect those 2 points together for you. So whenever I'm erasing straight edges, that's the way to do it. Is you click at the top, you hold shift, and then click at the bottom, and it will draw a straight line between those 2 points. Super helpful for masking.
That one trick, or not even a trick, that one little keystroke, that blew my mind when I first learned that.
World of difference.
That one thing had like saved probably hours and hours and hours of work.
Yep. I used to definitely go through and I would like click, 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 click along the. It was just insane.
Cool. So I think that looks good enough.
Oh, I love this. So there's a question from chat that is a little more of a complicated answer. So good luck both working and answering this. I know, right? So someone asked Jessica, what is a product or brand designer? What do you do? Right? So you describe yourself as those things. What do you do? What's that kind of work look like?
Yeah, that is a really good question. So, and specifically for me, when I say product work, lots of digital products, so like apps. So I do a lot of UX and UI design. And then specifically towards branding or brand designing, that is a lot of logo and logo system designs for clients. So those would be the differentiations between those two things.
Sweet. I totally agree. And Micah, something has happened to where your audio is just a little bit off from the video. So I'm going to have you leave the Zoom call and come right back in. And while we do that, chat, I am going to not show you my control panel, but I am going to show you the Behance Daily Creative Challenge. So Micah, if you want to hop out and then come right back into that same link, that'd be great. Thank you. So over here, Daily Creative Challenge chat, if you want to join, behance.net/challenge/illustrator. It is a really, really great resource that happens every single day. We are in the middle of challenges with, I believe, Julia Miskalska, one of my favorite people. Julia is amazing and awesome. So make sure that you go check those out, and you can do them every day. You can click right here to, hi, Andrew, take the challenge. You can click that, and it will notify you every day right up here on the bell icon when there is a new challenge that you can go to. So make sure you check those out, and let's get Micah back in here and see if we are all caught up on that video. And Jessica, no, I don't believe that anyone needs to know coding for being a brand or product designer. This is a question as well from Micah that we will ask him again. Hi, Micah, are you back? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh boy, can we. All right, so Micah, we had a little bit of question that I think is relevant to you. Do you have to learn any coding, any front end or back end stuff?
I believe you do not.
Yes, I don't think you do either, especially for brand and product designer. There are times that I build brands and I'll build websites for clients in XD, and I basically just show all the functionality. XD is super powerful to build out that website, to show what's going where and what's moving in what direction and all that, and then hand it off to a developer. And it's very easy for them to translate what you've designed in XD into all those words that they type into fancy things and actually make the website a reality. So you don't really have to learn any of that, Jessica.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we have the mask in, and now I believe we're dropping in. Oh.
Curious,
interesting.
Like, what if this was larger? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a vibe.
Let's see.
I wonder if you did like a giant crop of the bubbles and then Aquafox little in the corner in white.
Yeah, let's try that. I wasn't really feeling the black type. So yeah, let's grab these and then try that. Let's see.
I do feel, I'm just realizing this now, which I think is hilarious. I feel like the branding could either be, and someone said this, like a soda kind of like fizzy drink. And I love the thought of like anytime I see a lava lamp, they have that like pop top on it. And I'm like, why would you put this on here if you don't want people to drink this? Like, it's incredibly toxic, but like all that I want to do is drink it. And then I love that like the vibe is like, yeah, it's kind of like a soda vibe. Like, this feels dangerous.
Let's put this giant enticing drink in your room around your face all the time.
Exactly. Out of a vending machine.
Right.
Oh boy.
Next to like sodas and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, it's like soda, lava lamp, soda. Feels very safe. Yeah, this is a cool vibe.
Okay, that feels kind of cool. Let's see. Let's grab this guy and let's make him white, and then let's grab him and see what it feels like.
And something that we can do that we'll maybe do right after we put this in here is if you have a mock-up like this that is the product itself is white, sometimes putting white on top of it makes it too white, if that makes any sense. And so what you can do is you can actually select any active area, any active pixels on each of those layers, and then just mask them out of whatever color you're using, and it will pull out like the authentic color of that background white. So once we place that mica, if you want to control click on or command click on each of the thumbnails, have you ever done this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yep. So if you simply command or control click on there, it will select just the active area, and then we can mask it out of that orange and then turn off the white layers, and it will give it that perfect kind of color of what the lunchbox actually is in the background. Ooh, Mercurial Forte for the win. I wonder if Aquafox also makes boba and soda. Yes, so it's boba, soda, and lava lamps. And you got to really roll the dice on whether it's boba or lava.
Ooh, that would be dangerous.
Yes.
Let's see. Let's try and get this guy blue.
All right, and third one, yeah, we're going to try to do blue, which will look really good. We got about 8 minutes left in the stream. Actually, we got about... I don't know, like 5 minutes left in the stream, and then we'll do a recap of kind of everything that we've done here. This is our last episode of Design in the Dark for the year. We won't be back probably till February for a little while. So We're taking a break. You're shutting it down, Micah. And we may come back with a completely new show. So who knows? If there's anything that you'd love to see from content on Adobe Live, from things or different shows that we would maybe launch in February, let me know any concepts, any ideas, any things you want to learn in chat, and I'll spend the next few months figuring out how we can teach you those things, how we can entertain you, and how we can maybe come up with a new show in the new year. We'll see what happens. Or maybe Design in the Dark will be back. One of the two. All right. And you're just using the magic wand tool to grab those selections, right?
I am. Yep.
Cool.
Just getting them in really quickly just to get the idea across.
Man, the texture of that blue on that lunchbox, like, I want to touch that. Like, it feels so soft somehow. Like, that blue is just so perfect and like fluffy and delicious.
Yeah, especially with like the shadows around here. Those slight differences are really, really nice.
Yes, and a huge difference between just placing a layer there and changing the blending mode to multiply. So if you're multiplying, it's taking literally that. It's doing math. It's taking the hue, saturation, brightness numbers, the values that are in that color panel, and multiplying them with whatever the hue, saturation numbers are at the layer below it. So it literally is doing math for you to come up with new numbers that gives you new colors, all live.
And then I'm going to select these, put them on multiply, just to make them feel like they're really sitting on there.
Yep. I got really lost one day and looked up into the formulas of how the blending modes work, and it's literally all math, and it blew my mind that I'm like, this is literally just math.
Math.
Rad. All right, so in our
uh,
last 5 minutes, let's go ahead and walk back through everything we've done. I'm going to read the brief real quick, and then as we walk through, we can kind of check off all the things that we've done in the brief, talk about our thought process, and how we got to the final product that we had. So here is our final brief from you, our friends in chat. Thank you so much for participating in this, and here we go. Aquafox is launching a new line of merch. They're the leader in the vending machine illustrator. Gosh, I've said that twice. They're the leading in the vending machine industry, which has a cult following. This new line needs to include their color theme of blue and orange and should be in a flat design style. We want it to feel hip and comfy while targeting an elderly hipster audience. The merch must feature their signature product, a lava lamp, in at least one application. Also, we would love to see it on a beanie. Get edgy with it. I feel like we've hit all those things, and I just realized that the lunch boxes are the perfect elderly hipster thing, right? That it's like nostalgia throwback, but also they're business professionals who like pack their lunch every day.
yeah, it's sort of the thing of like, I miss my childhood and I want to bring it back in a very
Yes,
interesting way that you might not be familiar with.
absolutely. Gosh, these are so cool. All right, so
Eventually,
let's
just to keep it.
drop in that last logo and then go all the way back to the beginning. We've been on quite the journey here. As always, you can go back and watch the first day if you're just catching up, if you're just tuning in. You can watch yesterday as well as today and kind of track through the process. And if you do that, what I want you to notice is the first 10 minutes of this show is always a huge question mark, right? It always is like we all start at the same level of like, is this going to be anything? Are we going to get anywhere? I don't know what's going on. So if you're ever stressed about a project and getting started, just know that even these designers that we have featured here on Behance, we all do the same thing. We all have no idea what we're doing until suddenly it's right. All right, Micah, walk us through. We got about 3 minutes. Take us through your process, everything we've done today here on Design in the Dark.
Sweet. So started out with learning about the prompt, learning about the company, and learning about the product. And so landed on Aquafox, vending machines, and lava lamps. So based off those things, started playing around with colors, figuring out what type of energy this merch needed to have. Landed on this palette, and then just started playing around with some initial ideas for the product. And illustrating it in a very simple way. And started here and played around with shapes, started to feel good about where that might be headed, felt like it was telling the right story. And then started to refine it, started to add a little bit of dimension, started playing around, adding in some different shapes inside, adding some different color values of the bubbles inside. Once started feeling good about that, started to push it a little bit farther and landed with these, felt really good about those. And then started to push it a little bit farther, trying to get the idea across of thinking, okay, cool. What else makes us think about lava lamps? Started thinking about like the blobs and wanted to see how those could be used inside of the merch. And after that, started playing around with some type, just to get the company name across in the product, wanting it to feel like it fit within just the style we were working in. And once we landed there, started to put it into some merch. So we got it into some different applications of lunch boxes and a beanie.
Yeah, and I love, if you go back to that other screen in Illustrator, I love that with all the things we created, right, we were thinking through each of these elements that could really start to build out into a brand, that we thought about where they would be used. And this is a great just one sheet of like, cool, this is Aquafox. This is the vibe of Aquafox and what we can kind of create with it. And it's really great to have this all on one sheet. So if you're ever working on a brand, put all the assets and kind of pieces somewhere so you can grab and place them. And then let's look at the mock-ups that we landed on one more time. So we ended up doing, what did we do?
So we ended up doing a line of lunch boxes using the colors and the assets we created. And then we also did a beanie.
Yes. Oh, that beanie's so cool. And for the beanie, again, we got a template off of Adobe Stock. Great resource for you guys to grab stuff. And there are a lot of PSD templates that have smart objects that we simply drop on top, and it did all of the really hard work for us that we would have spent a ton of time doing in Photoshop. So Micah, thanks so much for joining us today. This was an absolute blast. Thank you, chat, for participating. And if you want to, again, you can follow Micah right here on Instagram, Micah Lanier. Lanier, right?
Yep, that's
okay,
it.
I always guess, yes. So check that out. And yes, thanks for watching, Jessica. So much fun. We will see you all in February when we make our comeback, or we may be back with an entirely new show. We'll see what happens. But Micah, you are either the last guest of Design in the Dark, or you're the beginning of a new era. So I know, right?
It's good either way.
It's good either way. So thanks for joining us today. Say hi to Gary for us, and we will see you next time. Bye.